ALEC is a creature. I mean, you've heard of the Trojan horse. It's a Trojan horse for corporate America, and largely for world hedge fund operators. And they have taken over education in Louisiana. And if you don't believe it's about the money, I'll give you one example that proves to you it's about the money, and that is the 2 virtual charter schools that were created last year by the legislature. One of them has 600 students enrolled. That company's CEO is the chairman of the ALEC Task Force on Education. He writes or oversees the writing of all the legislation on education. The way ALEC operates, they create task forces. And the task forces are supposed to be made up of legislators and corporate executives. But the fact of the matter is, the legislators never bother to show up to work when it comes time to draft legislation. And there are pages upon pages of model bills and model resolutions on virtually every subject that government is involved in. And you can go to a website called Exposing ALEC and get copies of every piece of legislation that they've drafted. And in many cases passed. They passed something like 2,000 bills in the United States last year. The chairman of the Education Task Force is the president of one of the 2 charter schools granted license to operate in this state last year. We are now going to see Bessie act to take the cap off of virtual charter enrollment. Last year they were limited to 600 for community charter and 1,200 for K-12 Inc. K-12 Inc. is Jeb Bush's company. And he gets a contract out of the state, and Paul Passford, before he left, ensured that they were going to recover their money. They gave him $8,100 per student enrolled in K-12 Inc. K-12 Inc. advertises nationally on its own website that you can enroll your child directly in a K-12 virtual charter school for an average of $4,600. Would you like to make that kind of profit on anything you do? I would. Having run a company, I can tell you, that's a hell of a profit. And they're doing that, enlarging that next year. Or this year, I'm sorry. So what we've got is more than a Trojan horse. It's the Trojan horse came into the legislature last year. Now the whole horse is opened up. We basically have lost public education to ALEC. At this point in time, anybody who can get 51% of the votes in a school, among parents in a school, can start a charter. And gosh, they don't have to go to Bessie to get it approved, and they don't have to go to the local school board to get it approved. They simply petition and start to take over your school paid for with taxpayer dollars and operate it as a charter. Now there are 3 kinds of charters. There is well actually there are 5 kinds, but there are really only 3 kinds. There's this unmitigated, unapproved charter. Then there's a charter or a pair of charters that are locally originated by the local school board, and then there are a couple that are originated by Bessie. And the cap has been taken off. Pastor Rick did that before he left. So that what you're going to see is a total privatization of public education over the next 4 years. Just a week ago, the Catholic Archdiocese in New Orleans heard the strategic plan changes for that group, and they're proposing to close 15 schools. Well, guess what? Those are perfect for charters. They're good schools. They're currently operating schools. That opens the door for vouchers